Cleveland Browns superstar pass rusher Myles Garrett has officially requested a trade, and in today's Madden 25 rebuild, I am granting the request of Garrett and trading him away to the highest bidder. And this video does not end until I get the Browns their first Super Bowl in franchise history. The Cleveland Browns, a very interesting team this offseason. They don't really have a true direction because of this man right here, Deshaun Watson. Now, there are some pretty good players across the rest of the roster. Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku, of course. The offensive line, though, is getting old, and it's going to need a lot of replacement starters very soon. And when you go to the defensive side of the ball, outside of Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward, it's pretty rough. I think we do have an answer with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah at one of the linebacking positions. But outside of him, I don't think there's really any long-term solidified player on our team currently. And when you look at players that are going to be heading into free agency in 2025, I don't think I want any single one of these guys. Like, there's just no point in bring any of these guys back. They're not very good. Of course, Nick Chubb, one of the best players in recent memory for the Browns, has dealt with a ton of injuries. He's about to be 30 years old. I'm just not going to pay a running back that much money when he's only going to be getting worse and worse and worse. Now, with that said, we do need to check the market for Myles Garrett. And there's a lot of really good players and a lot of really nice draft capital as well being included in every single one of these trades. We're going to be making a handful of moves, so I think I'm just going to go with the best and most valuable player. And I think for right now, with his age and contract, as long with his overall, I think that's going to be Christian Gonzalez of the New England Patriots. Okay, so this is what the trade is looking like. Myles Garrett, a second rounder and a fourth rounder for Christian Gonzalez in the number 4 pick in the NFL draft. That is one hell of a haul for the Cleveland Browns. But just looking at this Browns team, all the good players are in their late 20s, have massive contracts. I think I'm going to try and sell almost every single one of these players. And I think my favorite one is going to be Nick Bonito here and a couple of nice picks from the Broncos. We are going to have to pay him, I believe, after this season, but we're going to have enough cap space now that we're getting rid of Garrett and Ward. And then David Njoku as well. He's on the last year of his deal. And I really like this trade. David Njoku for a young slot receiver in Ladd McConkey with a second-round pick. Kind of a wild trade, but we're really just selling high on all of these Brown stars. No need for 33-year-old Joe Bitonio as well, because this is going to be the last year, probably maybe of his career, and he's not going to be here when we're good. So Cordell Flott from the Giants, young cornerback, will take it. But I think that is the remaining trades I want to make for this team as we head into year number 1 of this rebuild. But kind of some crazy trades. Let me know in the comment section down below if you do kind of like this style of just really shaking things up, or if I should try and make it a bit more, I would say, super realistic next time. But I also want to do something before we begin the season. I'm just going to cut bait with Deshaun Watson. I just don't want him on this roster anymore. I know we're going to take a ton of dead money, but you know what? I don't really care. We're going to cut Deshaun Watson, take $69 million in dead money. Now, my plan for the draft is to take whatever quarterback the Titans don't. It seems like it's always going to be Cam Ward, and it is. So we're going to get ourselves Shedeur Sanders here. Who knows if Dion would let him go to Cleveland in real life, but we're going to draft Shedeur here, and we also have the number 4 pick. Sanders, number 23 in true value. He is hidden dev with 95 throw power, 82 speed. Pretty good metrics. He's going to be the guy leading this franchise moving forward. And I have no clue who the Giants are going to draft, but I will take either Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, and they did take Abdul Carter. Okay. I kind of wanted Abdul Carter, I'm not going to lie. That was my preferred choice, but we do also have ourselves a generational player in Travis Hunter and even Mason Graham. I think we're going to go Mason Graham here. I think the trenches are too important. We're going to need somebody. Let's go Mason Graham from Michigan. Don't know if I love it. I really wanted Abdul Carter, but I think Mason Graham is still a really, really elite player. He was number 3 in true value, 90 strength, 85 acceleration. So I still think an amazing pick, but I did kind of want Abdul. Here in the second round, I think we got to go offensive line. I think Josh Connerly from Oregon is the best player on the board. And we need to protect Shedeur Sanders, who's kind of known for holding on to the ball for a long time. And preventing that and preventing a lot of sacks is getting a great offensive tackle. And Connerly, he is hidden dev. Good size, pass protector archetype. I like it. Now, 2 picks later, we're still on the board. Isaiah Bond is really interesting, but I don't think we need another receiver now that we traded for Ladd McConkey. I think I'm going to go Xavier Watts here from Notre Dame. Just an all-around really, really good safety. We could still use some help in the back end of our defense, and hopefully he can emerge as one of the better safeties in the league. And number 27 in true value is really, really good. Obviously a little bit slower with 87 speed, but pretty good size, and I think he still can be a good player for us in the box at least. Isaiah Bond is still just sitting here. I'm really, really tempted to just take him. I mean, he's round 1 or 2 best player on the board. Let's go Isaiah Bond. Surprised he's still here in the 3rd round. And yeah, I mean, it was a good pick. Let's take a look at his speed. 98 speed, 98 acceleration. I mean, he's going to be our Xavier Worthy type player. I guess we can get some more help on the defensive line and get a pretty raw prospect, but has all the physical traits in Kyle Kennard here out of South Carolina. Don't know how his value will be in this game, so yeah, it wasn't great, but he does have kind of the physical makeup and hidden dev to develop into being a pretty good player for us on the defensive line. And the last pick I'm going to use in this draft is RJ Harvey here. Needs somebody in the backfield, and I think he can be a pretty serviceable running back for us. He is only normal dev, but 92 speed, 92 acceleration. Looks like a pretty good player for us right out of the gates. And taking a look at the draft recap, I'm really happy how this turned out. Sanders is a 76 overall. Mason Graham is an 81. Connerly's a 72. 75 for Watson. Isaiah Bond is going to be really good out of the gates as well. And in the first year of this rebuild, I am expecting it to be kind of a rocky road. I mean, we're definitely not a great team, especially on our offensive line. We have a rookie quarterback as well. But obviously, this was not going to be easy. We traded away all of our best players for these future picks and a lot of young talent. It's really just about progress this year. And as long as we see that from some of our rookies, I'll be happy no matter where we finish in the standings. And halfway through the season, actually doing a lot better than I thought we were going to be. 3-3. Let's take a look at some of the players we have to extend and bring back. Of course, Nick Benito, who we traded for. We really want him back. We have so much cap space as well, so we're going to give him the super max, as you would like to call it. He's not going to accept it right now because he has like 0 interest in playing for us, but I feel pretty confident we can get him back. Greg Newsome is interesting. He has no interest, and we don't really desperately need him since we did trade for Gonzalez. We have some solid depth at the cornerback position, but I guess I didn't consider the fact that Flott and Emerson Jr. are both up for contracts as well. So we do kind of want Greg Newsome. He's around the same age, the best of the bunch. So we'll offer him a contract. I don't really expect him to sign it, but he did. We end the season 6-11, and really considering everything, I feel like we did a pretty good job this year. Really thought maybe with our talent, we were going to be like a 2 or 3 win team, but hey, we doubled that. Stats for the season, Shedeur Sanders had a pretty good rookie season, 3,700 yards, 27 touchdowns to 18 picks. Actually, really not a bad rookie season at all. Jerome Ford was our starting running back this year. He had 777 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the receiving end, Jerry Jeudy, McConkey, and this random rookie tight end we drafted actually cooked. Defensively, we really struggled without Myles Garrett, not a ton of sacks whatsoever. Picks-wise, though, we had 3 from Delpit, and Xavier Watts had 2 picks himself. No pick, though, from Christian Gonzalez. I guess we should also check how Myles Garrett did this year. Try to keep up with him a little bit, and it looks like he had a very good season. 15.5 sacks. He definitely was worth the trade for the Patriots. Now, we already really extended every player that I wanted to. We are going to accept the 5th-year option for Christian Gonzalez. That's a no-brainer. But yeah, really the rest of these guys, I'm fine letting them walk, and we're going to go into the free agency $160 million. And this free agent class isn't great. I might offer Pacheco a contract because he's only 26. We can get him on a 3-year deal. I'm not going to overpay for him, though. So if he doesn't want to come to us, he doesn't. And yeah, Pacheco decided to go to the Chargers. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the draft already. And this draft board is honestly not too good for our needs. There's not a pass rusher really available here with the 8th pick in the draft. It's really just this defensive tackle. Pair him with Mason Graham. That could be really, really good. But I mean, he's got elite strength, elite change of direction, great speed. He looks just like a generational defensive tackle prospect. So we're going to draft him here. And yeah, he's a really good player. We do also really badly need a tight end. And I'm going to do that here for Shedeur Sanders. Matt Lehman, he looks insane. 4.5 40, elite speed, great agility, great acceleration. And yeah, 88 speed, 88 acceleration, 85 agility, 6'5", 255. He's kind of our Njoku replacement here. Nothing really good on the board. Just going to take another flyer on a running back. Carl Foster used to be okay. 92 speed, 91 acceleration, hidden dev. So we'll take that, but definitely not what I wanted to take here. We need help on the trenches. I feel like with centers, there's always really good players later in the draft. I mean, this guy has great speed, elite jumping, elite change of direction. Really all you want to see. I think he should be a pretty good player here in the 4th round. And yeah, it looks like a pretty good player. He is hidden dev, has good movement skills, and good strength. We might have just found another future starter for us on the O-line. And the draft recap again is pretty solid. Ballmer here is a 79 overall. Lehman is a 74. So 2 instant starters for us. A pretty solid running back. Our center's pretty good as well. And then the CPU got a couple of hits in there. I think this middle linebacker, Michael Spurlock, could be a pretty good player. The team honestly is starting to look a lot more promising. Obviously, probably need 3 more long-term starters on the O-line. But we just solved tight end. Our receiving core is pretty deep and good. We might have just solved running back. Shedeur Sanders is superstar dev, so that's really going to help his progression as well. And then defensively, Watts is a really good player. We have Graham, who's only somehow a star dev, but Ballmer next to him as well, probably one of the best interior defensive lines in the league now. We need a couple of edge rushers and patching up some holes on the offensive line. And as long as we see some improvement, this team should be ready to compete. I feel like 1 to 2 years. And the Browns are 5-1 to the midseason point somehow. I don't know how that's possible, but we have a ton of cap space and no real player to sign and bring back either. This is kind of unbelievable. I don't know how our defense is playing so well. I mean, I guess we do have a lot of young talent, but my goodness, 5-1 is pretty crazy, top of the division as well. And the Cleveland Browns in year 2 of the rebuild made the playoffs. We had a top 10 scoring defense. We had ourselves a top 15 scoring offense, and we're actually 1 game out for the division lead. Kind of crazy. I don't think I love our chances against the Bengals with how young of a team we are, but we're going to try and walk in here and pull off an upset. 3-0, we're going to score first, and again, have the ball in the red zone. Couldn't capitalize with the touchdown, but our defense is really stifling Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, but we can't capitalize those stops into touchdowns. So it's 9-7, 10-9 now in the third quarter, and the Bengals are beginning to pull away. Now it's 23-17, 3 minutes, 15 seconds. I want to hop in for like 1 play. Just take a look at this offense because it's just completely revamped from how we know the Browns in real life. But we're going to hit a running back here out of the backfield, Foster, for a nice gain of 8. But Shedeur Sanders has us on the move. We're basically in the red zone here, 2nd and 6. He's going to fire underneath to our tight end, and we're inside the 10 with a chance to take the lead here. Sanders might just be the truth. He might just be the truth. We still have 2 timeouts, plenty of time. Sanders, plenty of time in the pocket. He's going to fire. It's incomplete. Ladd McConkey cannot bring it in. But, I mean, we have built a pretty good infrastructure around Shedeur. A young offensive line, a lot of nice weapons, and here underneath again, going to be short, but at the 4-yard line. We did burn a timeout, so 2 plays for 4 yards and a good chance to go on to the divisional round. Sanders firing to the end zone. He overshot McConkey, and here we go. It comes down to this. Sanders is going to go under center. There's no way this is going to be a run. Sanders, and he's going to take a sack. Trey Hendrickson. Oh, man, that's a tough way to go out. The Browns get some valuable playoff experience in year number 2. But just not quite ready yet for prime time. Now, I did bring back Grant Delpit, but the rest of these players I'm going to let hit free agency. We have $182 million to spend. We really got to go in the next couple of years to really maximize this window. And in free agency, there are some really, really good players. Brian Branch. I mean, I did sign Delpit, but I mean, if we can get ourselves Brian Branch, you have to do it. So we're going to add a player-friendly deal here. And maybe we can just move Delpit to like the slot potentially, or even Brian Branch. But I want to at least put in an offer for him. We are going to be 2nd behind the Eagles. I think offering Cody Mack a deal could be smart as well, since we still have some holes to patch on the O-line, and he's just a solid veteran. I do believe we're going to need another right tackle, but I don't think I want to pay any of these guys to step in there. But like usual, the top free agent did not decide to come to Cleveland. He went to the New York Giants. We did get Cody Mack, though, which is cool, but we're still one of the best player on the market. And here in the NFL draft, we have the 20th overall pick, and we need another pass rusher that has been a weak element of our team. And I think Mike Toon here is the best player on the board and also fits our needs perfectly. I really just judge all of these prospects based off of their physicals, and his just look insane. So we're going to draft him here. Hopefully he kind of reaches his full potential, and he's 33 in true value, so a slight reach, but hidden dev, 85 speed, 90 acceleration, great size. I think he's going to be a good player. And here in the second round, I'm going to attack the running back position. We haven't really been able to get one in the past couple of years in the draft that's been a good player for us. He's got good physicals. I have some scouting done on him. He's a round 1 or 2 talent. And here, towards the end of the second round, I kind of like this value here. And he's a pretty good player, it turns out to be. 90 speed, 94 acceleration. He is hidden dev. Hopefully, he can emerge as a good player for us. And the draft recap is actually really good. 3 plug-and-play starters. We're going to move Toon to one of those defensive end positions, and then we have Myles here. He might start from us week 1. And then Bradford, another really good interior offensive lineman. I let the CPU take over the rest of the draft, and not really any good players, maybe a rotational guy here in Steven Hemsley, but overall, I like our top 3 picks. And the team heading into year 3 actually looks really, really strong. Myles in at running back now. Bradford starting for us at guard. I re-signed Conklin on a 1-year deal because we were not able to address the right tackle position this offseason. But I mean, the offense looks incredible, and then the defense, I feel like, could even be better. With 2 now starting at right end, we need him to really blossom in the next couple of years. But maybe another addition at safety and then another end down the road. The defense is kind of complete. I mean, we have star talent. We have good depth. I'm really liking how this team is kind of taking shape. In 87 overall defense. We just need to patch a couple of more holes, and I think we can do that next offseason. Really make a push for Lombardi. Through the midseason point, not a great start, 3-4, and our ranks are just not great. I mean, our defense is top 10 in scoring again, but our offense isn't doing too well. We do have some players to negotiate with, and we again have so much cap space. So Ladd McConkey, 4-year deal, hopefully you'll accept that. Christian Gonzalez, though, he doesn't really have any interest in coming back, but I mean, if we throw him an absolute bag, a 7-year deal, easy. Then same thing for Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I do want him back. I don't know about longer than like a 5-year deal. So he's not going to accept that right now. I think he will be able to down the line. Jerry Jeudy, though, don't think I'm going to sign him because we do have Isaiah Bond, who hasn't really gotten a ton of reps. Mike Hull Jr., don't really see the need for him. And I think the rest of these players we're going to let walk. So we just need to get back Koramoah, and I think I'm pretty happy with rolling, again, around $100 million into free agency. Well, we end the season 9-8, but we are the 9 seed. We did not make the playoffs, which is pretty unfortunate. It looks like our offense was pretty good, but our defense took a massive step back this year in terms of yardage, at least. Taking a look at the stats, Shedeur Sanders had like an MVP caliber year, 4,200 yards, 41 touchdowns. On the ground, our rookie running back didn't have a great season, only 745 yards. But receiving, Ladd McConkey, our tight end, and Jeudy and Bond, I mean, all had great years. Defensively, Mason Graham is really developing 13.5 sacks and 9.5 sacks for our rookie. That is a great sign. Picks-wise, Christian Gonzalez continues to ball out with 5 of them. Let's check on Myles Garrett as well. I think I might have forgotten to show the stats from last season, if I'm not mistaken. Well, let's take a look and see if Myles Garrett had a good season or not, and he did. 18 sacks for Myles Garrett. He is balling out for the Patriots. Last look at players before we head into free agency. Obviously going to accept all the options on all the rookies we drafted. Mason Graham is up to superstar X Factor. He's an absolute stud. But Jerry Jeudy, I'm going to let him walk. And I guess Mike Hall, I mean, we do have the money. He's pretty good depth. Why not just bring him back on a 2-year deal? And the free agent class is really, really good. Jahmyr Gibbs is on the market. I'm going to throw him an absolute heater of a contract, a very player-friendly deal, a 7-year contract. I mean, he would be such a difference maker for our team. So I'm going to give him that offer. We'll see if he wants to come to Cleveland or not. Might as well throw Cooper DeJean a contract as well, just make our secondary even better. We have the funds, might as well. Jahmyr Gibbs did decide to go to the Seattle Seahawks, so we're going to miss out on another really good player. We did get Cooper DeJean, though, which is pretty cool. And I'm going to make a draft day trade. I'm trading our first-round pick for this superstar 85 overall right tackle, one of the biggest holes remaining on our team. I took a look at the class for right tackles, and it's just not good whatsoever. I mean, look at the top 6 players. I have all of them scouted fully, and there's only one of them that's worth it. He's going to go in the top 5. It just makes more sense to trade that first-round pick for a guy that's already proven an 85 superstar. So that's what I did. In the second round, I decided to go this offensive guard because I do think Mock might be on the last year of his deal. So we have his replacement now, a 6'4", 330-pound, 92 strength guard. I think I like that pick. And the draft recap, this left guard is a 74 overall. Let the CPU take over again the rest of the draft, and it was really rough. But heading into year 4, I think this team looks really, really good. Obviously, we need some more progression from some of our young players like Myles and Bond, who's getting a bigger role this year. But the O-line has been completely rebuilt. It looks really good now. Shedeur Sanders is coming along very nicely. And on the defensive side of the ball, we have Graham, probably one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league, a great secondary as well now with Cooper DeJean coming over. The mid-season point, and it's the best start to a season we've had so far. 6-1, we're top 5 in both offensive and defensive scoring. That is fantastic news. Looking at players to bring back, we do have Xavier Watts, Isaiah Bond, Connor Lee, Some of our young players are coming to the negotiating table. The problem is, it says we have negative 11 million in cap room. It says on this main screen we have $88 million, so I don't know why it's kind of messed up in the negotiating screen. Maybe it has to do with some of the dead money from some of the other contracts we moved on from in the past. I don't really understand it, but hopefully in the offseason we have enough to bring these guys back, because right now we don't. And the Cleveland Brownies, one of the best seasons in franchise history, 13-4. The number 6 scoring offense, the number 1 scoring defense. What a year from this team. We are the number 1 seed in the AFC, which is really, really big for us. We're going to be avoiding the Kansas City Chiefs until at least the conference championship game. I'm feeling pretty optimistic we might be able to go on a run here. Let's take a look at the stats and see what Shedeur Sanders did this season. Kind of similar to what he's been doing. 4,300 yards, 39 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. On the ground, Carl Michaels had 11 touchdowns. Sanders even provided some on the ground over 400 yards. Receiving-wise, McConkey and Isaiah Bond, both with 1,000-yard seasons. And defensively, oh my goodness, we had a ton of sacks. Benito and Graham off the edge. Uche and Toon. Our pass rush was deadly. 4 picks for Gonzalez. 3 picks for Cooper DeJean. What a season from our defense. And our divisional round matchup is going to be against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who destroyed the Texans 31-15 on the road. I don't love facing off against a division rival here, but we're going to have to do it. Face off against the Chiefs or the Dolphins for a trip to the Super Bowl. The Steelers get the ball first, go right down the field and make it 3-0, 6-0. That's the only good thing, is we're holding them to field goals. Again, we're going to have to kick a field goal ourselves. It's 6-3 as we approach halftime. A very low-scoring football game, your classic AFC North battle. But 10-6, we finally get in the end zone, and we finally stop the Steelers. We did. Our defense, which has been so good all season long, is keeping us in this football game. I do want to hop in and just take a look at our defense that we have built. Mason Graham up front, and their quarterback is wearing number 0. That is kind of weird. But here's Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, one of the OGs with a nice tackle. And one of our studs on our defense make a play. We have a blitz right here. We did not take him down, though. I think that was Koramoah that missed him. And now we've got a 3rd and 8 here, playing some cover 1. We have the corners, and they're going to actually run a screen play. That's actually a great play call. And they're going to be just a tad bit short, I believe, 4th and inches. And they are, in fact, going to punt this ball back to Shedeur Sanders and this Browns offense, which hasn't really done a ton today. But 1 first down here wins us the game. Our running back is wearing number 12, and he's actually huge. Michaels looks like Derrick Henry back there, but he's got the lane, and Michaels stretches forward for the first down. That's going to just about do it here. And the Cleveland Browns, in a slugfest, a defensive battle, win 10-6 against their rivals, the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're moving on to the AFC Championship game, but our offense is going to have to be better. But to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. And so we're going to be trying to do that today against Patrick Mahomes, who has been terrorizing the AFC for years. Not a great start from our team. The Chiefs make it 10-0. We do answer 10-7, and again, Kansas City is moving it 17-7 as we approach the end of the 3rd quarter. We're going to need a 4th quarter miracle. 17-14, and I think we might have forced a turnover, because here is Shedeur Sanders and the Browns offense inside the 5, just like that. Hopefully Sanders can make a play here, has a couple of turnovers on the day. Firing to the back of the end zone, Trey Tucker, one of our veteran free agents, scores a go-ahead touchdown. But our defense got us the football back, and now we have 1st and 10. We just got to milk out around 2 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock. The first play here, we're going nowhere for 2 yards. 1 first down puts a lot of pressure on the Chiefs, but I just don't want to give the ball back to Mahomes. We've seen it time and time again, even in real life. If you give him a chance, he's going to make the most of it. But here we go. Looks like maybe a pass here with Sanders, and he's under pressure. He's going to fire to the middle of the field, and it's caught by, I think, our tight end for a huge gain. It was actually Ladd McConkey getting wide open, one of the first trades we made in this rebuild. I think now we're about 5 yards away from field goal range. The Chiefs can stop the clock, though, if we don't get a first down. I think right now the motto's got to be 1 first down, because if we do that, the Chiefs cannot stop the clock. Another run up the middle, a running back weaving and bobbing. I feel like he could have got more yards there. But here's the play of the game. I'm putting the ball in Shedeur Sanders' hands. He's been MVP caliber quarterback for years now, and we are. Sanders, just run for it. He's not going to. He's going to fire up the sideline. It's caught again by our tight end this time. What a grab. And now all we have to do is knee this one out. Shedeur Sanders is him. And in year 4 of the Cleveland Browns rebuild without Myles Garrett, we are headed to our first Super Bowl in franchise history, sending Patrick Mahomes and the Dynasty Chiefs home. And our Super Bowl matchup is against the number 7 seed Packers, who are having a Cinderella run I will take that. We should have a huge advantage in terms of talent compared to them, but they've really been walking through every single team, including a 38-14 win at Tampa Bay. But here we go in Raymond James Stadium. Here come the Browns led by Shedeur Sanders as we try and get ourselves our first ever Lombardi trophy. Getting off to a fast start is very crucial, and the Packers are actually the team that scores first. It's 3-0, but Sanders is bringing us down the field. 4th and inches. We got it. We score a touchdown, but the Packers answer quickly. There's actually a ton of scoring in this game, 14-13 before even halftime. And we're actually in the red zone again, 21-13 at half. We're again in the red zone, 28-13, 35-13. We are pouring it on the Packers. I knew we had a big advantage in this game, but I didn't expect blowout like this fashion. I didn't even have to hop in at once. The Cleveland Browns and Shedeur Sanders, without Myles Garrett, are Super Bowl champions in year number 4. Yeah, show them. We got ourselves a ring. And Shedeur Sanders is just that guy. Over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. He definitely won himself Super Bowl MVP. But here is a final look at our Super Bowl roster. Ladd McConkey has emerged as one of the best receivers in the league. Shedeur Sanders, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Our offensive line was completely rebuilt. None of these players were here at the start of this rebuild. And they're all really, really good now, including this tight end who's a monster. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Mason Graham and Christian Gonzalez, 2 pillars on this defense, 2 really early moves that we made, really helped us become the best defense in the league. But that doesn't do it for me in this Madden 25 Cleveland Browns rebuild without Myles Garrett. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about this rebuild, if you kind of like the style of a lot of trades or not, and what team or idea you want to see me rebuild next. But subscribe to the channel if you are new, drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.